spawning up in the top right hand position as the blue Zerg player. It is from the clan KRN, which I'm afraid I don't know what it is. It is none other than Namshar. And his opponent down in the bottom left, the red Protoss player. Representing next, it is KnowMe. So, apparently my busy marker was not appropriately set. Even though, look, it's saying that I'm busy, but I have to go to, like, available and then back to busy again. God, that's annoying. But anyway, now I've done that, everything should be quite good. It looks like Namshar has got quite a few friends and supporters in my Twitch chat, which is always good. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you could have watched this live. You should definitely do that because it's always cool. Now, in terms of opening, Yonsei is quite a cool map. Probably not the best map to go hatch pool on, just because you're third. This is probably the most often third that you'll see a Zerg player take, but unfortunately there's some rocks there, and there's quite a long way round, and due to this long way round, you can get into an awkward position where a Protoss can take it out, or you have to come and expand down here, and likewise, there's this nice little choke point which Force Fields can be very good in. So, I say pool hatch, probably the best opening you're going to get on this map, going to be really nice and solid. Equally, oh, it's for Carnage, of course it's for Carnage. Gah, I'm being stupid. Carnage Esports, that's a UK team. I don't know why I didn't recognise that, I just assumed that it wasn't a British team. Silly old me. Anyway. Yeah, as we're going now, drone game pulled down. Probe already there, gonna go pylon block. So, this is a little bit frustrating getting a pylon block. It takes a bit longer, delays the hatchery. It'd be especially annoying that if that was an earlier hatch before the pull, but it wouldn't have quite got down in time anyway, so that wouldn't have been too much of a problem. Now, as we're seeing, just going to be chipping away at that. 2 lings probably will get started up, maybe 4, you sometimes see, especially since this pylon's been allowed to finish 4 lings. Probably going to be the best thing because obviously Namshar has got a decent chunk of minerals banked up anyway. So there we go, 4 lings, 6 actually coming out now, which actually opens up the possibility for a little bit of aggression to come in towards the natural base. This is not that much of a strong position. It's something that really you can take out quite nicely with a handful of lings, or at least you can pressure it. And if there's only one zealot out, which is quite often skipped actually, then you can come in and actually quite easily pick that off. If there's a mothership core as well, obviously that's when things get a tad harder to do, or a stalker too. But as we see, pylon is going to be going down. Drone can now happily become a hatchery. It's what every drone dreams of being when it's a wee little lava. They just sit there and they're like, when I grow up I want to be a drone, I want to be a hatchery. Well, actually probably as a larva they're probably like, I want to be an ultralisk when I grow up. But then when they've become a drone they probably want to be a hatchery, I assume anyway. Maybe they want to be a spine crawler, who knows. Anyway, Zealot wasn't skipped, that does come out. Second Zealot is on its way, as well as Warp Gate Tech, although note that Warp Gate Tech not being chrono boosted, it's still probes being chronoed out, so that just basically says that, hey, I'm going to be a bit more economical. 6 lings running across them now, just going to see if they can be irritating anyway. This Zealot, if it isn't microed perfectly, can go down quite nicely. The probe actually helping out here. Nice around there by Namshar. Going to be able to pick off that Zealot and a probe. Note that 5 Zerglings managed to stay alive. They're a very efficient way of using those. A second Zealot is, though, out on the field. So, it's still possible for 5 lings to kill a Zealot, but it'd have to be microed effectively. But KnowMe, he's just going to clear these out quite nicely. Does waste a little bit of mining time, a little bit frustrating. Does realise there's 4 probes in there, so pulls one out, that's all good. Behind this, Zergling speed coming down, natural hatchery is pretty much down, and it is all going fairly good. Now, moving on from this, soon we should see a tech choice come down from KnowMe. Be that a Stargate, a Robotics Facility, Twilight Council, one of those 3 generally going on their way, or alternatively just 3 additional gateways and some pressure, but definitely some kind of tech choice should be on its way fairly soon, considering there's a lot of gas banked up. 200, and that's after a sentry's been started as well, so that's actually quite a lot. And well, with Overlord speed coming down too, it's just going to be a good little bit of vision coming through. 12 lings actually coming out, so maybe fearing a bit of pressure. We've got the Forge and well as an additional gateway, but the Overlord is getting a good peek of this. Sees the 2 more gates are coming down, but probably thinking, hang on, where's the rest of this tech? Where's that gas going? Because he's been mining for quite a while. We've got to be spending it somewhere. +1 should be coming down from that Forge. +1 attack most likely. Of course, numerous power pace, Overlord speed about to be done, so it will boost out there and essentially will not get the kill. Poor little sentry. And the third is also coming up. But bear in mind, there's 2 zealots heading towards the natural base. 2 zealots in the mothership core, but 2 queens there, and the lings on their way back. The lings with speed too. These queens should be able to get away, and the mothership core probably will get taken out if it doesn't quite quickly retreat. So nice defense here by Namshar. He's doing a good job. Remember, this is a best of 1, so whoever wins this game does advance forward into the quarterfinals. Only a trickle through of gas, no lair yet. That makes sense. Roach Warren coming down again, very normal things we're seeing from Namshar at the moment. He's playing pretty damn well with +1 attack coming down, though for KnowMe. He's going to start faring very well against that Zergling only composition. Need to see some roaches out there, but once we start getting that down, then it's going to be nice. Now, note this sentry doesn't have enough energy for a force field, so will unfortunately die, and that is a big pickoff. Quite a few, well, 100 gas straight away down for nothing, and that was the only sentry out on the field too, so not going to be banking up energy. We do have the double Stargate though, but look at this. Namshar, he's there. He's got the vision with that Overlord. He knows precisely what's going to be on its way. His response, frankly, should just be Hydralisks. Hydras are a very good choice up against the double Stargate play, because you know that if there's 2 Stargates, that's a big chunk of investment going into that. And the one thing that Skytoss lacks is splash damage, so Ling Hydra, a very strong composition against that, and it really will be exceptionally effective. Nothing coming out yet from that evolution chamber, though we'll likely see +1 missile attack. The third hatchery is up and running, and the mothership core just really gonna pick anything off and see anything that could be coming through, which is all good plans. Now, the +1 zealots are moving forward, and that means that they 2-shot any lings that could be coming through. That's gonna be very useful once that play starts coming. But yeah, Spore Crawler's ready for the double production from this Stargate, and it's gonna be double Oracle production, which isn't something you see too often. These zealots, though, even though they're doing well against the Zerglings, there's a good number of roaches there, and that's why we see them retreating back. They're gonna try and engage these Zerglings, which are really just acting as a bit of a buffer, trying to delay the zealots from being able to run away, so the roaches can try and close off the distance. Roach speed is on its way down. No, that's a rock tower as well, so that collapse on the roaches would have killed them all. Pretty nice, but Namshar is doing a good job. We can see that he's got the double spores down at each base, so should be fairly safe from these twin oracles that are making their way across. But double Stargate was purely just for these 2 oracles. We've got the robotic facility and Twilight Council coming down behind it, and therefore everything looking quite nice. But in we go now. These oracles just going to try and deal a little bit of damage to anything they can, but they're going to be probably quite disgruntled to discover that, hey, there's Spore Crawlers and Queens around. That's not really what we want to see. They are going to try and engage, but one oracle straight away goes down. The second one is being forced to retreat. May go and check some of the other bases, but is going to be just as dismayed to discover that actually there's spores everywhere. So currently Namshar dealing about double the damage that he's actually taken, which is really sudden considering that the robotic facility and the Twilight Council delay due to these double Stargates that are now producing Voidways. Not so good, but the Hydralisks then, the second evolution chamber, are now in production, and it's the Hydras that are going to be playing such a critical part to this. If the Hydralisks are able to get to the field and we get a sizable number of them out, that's when, without, of course, Templar Archives and therefore some Storm, without Colossi, it's going to be difficult for a Protoss player to deal with that, even with those Voidways. Yes, there's the argument that once you get up enough Voidways, you can actually deal with pretty much anything, but that's quite a way off yet. Those are only the first 2 out, and of course Connor boosts are being spent between 3 main things. The charge, the Stargates, and also the robotic facility. Not to mention if there wants to be some more probes out. And talking of the worker count, Namshar, he's only at 56 workers at the moment, so could do with upping that, but as we see, 10 drones are in production, so that's about to skyrocket up to the 70+ mark. The 4th base is going to try and come down, but unfortunately a Zealot doesn't like the sound of that, so it's going to come and do some damage. We'll pick off the drone, but it also alerts KnowMe of the timing, really, the 4th was attempting to come down. Now, we know that the 3rd base is also up for KnowMe, or it's on its way up, and if we take a look at the vision, we can see that Namshar is aware of it. He knows that's been taken, and that's what's prompting the 4th to also come down. We may even see an attempt by Namshar to go and punish this 3rd base, but with the cannon very nicely SimCity did. You need quite a big force, and when we factor the Voidways and the heavy charge lot army, that could be quite awkward to do. But all in all, this game's starting to stabilize a bit now. Losses aren't too significant on either side. The only thing is that KnowMe has lost quite a chunk of gas, losing that Oracle and also the Sentry early on, but all in all, I'd say this game pretty level for the time being, and what we're really going to have to see is how this Templar Archives is going to play in. Is it just going to be for some Archons, or will Storm be able to get out on the field? Will this small force actually be enough to pressure with? Because for the time being, there aren't that many Hydras. But look at the Queen count, 10 on the field. That's so many transfuses. And with this sort of composition, having a lot of Queens is great. Because against the Void Rays, Queens don't take bonus damage. They could also dish out an amount and transfuse other units just to make sure this army is as cost effective as possible, which is quite scary to deal with actually. So these transfuse micro is going to be the key part of this working successfully. And now we see though the roaches are just going to pull back as we see the changelings coming just to get a little peek of what's going on. They both get taken out though. KnowMe is far too aware to let something like that sneak into his base. The fourth hatch is up. Good revelation on all of this army. Of course, this gives vision straight away for KnowMe. He's completely aware of any movements are made. He's getting some more oracles in there too. That was a couple of High Templar went in. Did go for some feedbacks on the Queens and now moving into Narcon, but engagement is now on its way down. The Void Rays trying to deal as much damage as possible. The transfuses starting to come through. Good feedbacks though are going down on some of the Queens. The Hydras though dealing a good chunk of damage. Being forced to retreat, the Void Rays pretty much unhelped by anything on the ground now. Just those 3 Immortals. Now they've dealt with the Roaches won't deal too much damage. Just the Void Ray count staying up. Great micro from KnowMe. Is Namshar going to be able to push through and win this? But he's got a couple more Queens still there, but his force is dwindling. Going to be forced to retreat, but 22 Hydralists are on their way. And the reason they're coming out is because he did not see a single Storm. Storm is not researched. It's not being researched. So this is great. Add in the Spire, ready for that beautiful Mutatech switch. And this is where we could be seeing things go well. But it's this force now. It's the Hydras that are making the way across with the Queens. There are a few feedbacks available. The Queens don't have that much energy, so not even going to be popping them. And the Hydras still going forward. Namshar doing a great bit of damage here. The Void Ray count is not that significant currently. It's only sitting at 5 Void Rays. The 6th has, sorry, the 5th has literally just popped out. So only 4 here in the engagement. A couple of Void Rays are doing some damage though, but an Immortal goes down to the side. This 3rd Nex is taking quite a chunk of damage. The Photon Cannon down. The Queen's just able to tank a lot of this DPS while the Hydras dish it out. What is there really for KnowMe to do here? Well, he's trying to force his back. He's attempting to micro these Void Rays to the utmost, but he's dwindling in army supply. It's currently 88 to 10. GG is called, and Namshar is able to take the victory.